Teckel brings new colors in several of their frog lines. OSP brings us D's nuts, new sizes of spin nuts, and finally, Jeff, the 3/8 and 3/4 size in the grass piece have arrived. This is what's new this week at the Hookup Tackle. Welcome to the Hookup Tackle.
Oh, what a stud.
Yeah. Look at that.
That was sick.
Cheers, my friends. Happy Sunday.
All right, guys, some breaking news.
What's new this week at the Hookup Tackle?
What a beautiful coastal fish.
Look at that.
Look at that cut on that. That's a nice fish.
Welcome back, my friends. I am Ben with the Hookup Tackle, Tackle Otaku on Instagram, being joined this Sunday by my buddy Jeffrey the King. We're the Hookup Tackle USA.
That was really loud.
Sundays. All right. Cheers, Jeff. How are you today,
Cheers.
sir?
I'm doing fantastic. You're looking good.
Thank you.
It's that Orion
Cheers.
physique.
I'm working on it. Bodybuilding. Different way of bodybuilding.
I would say
It's
so.
my way. Cheers, my friends. I hope you're having a wonderful weekend. Hope your Sunday is off to a good start. We're going to jump right in. Not a huge week this week as far as a really broad line of products, but some that I've been dying to get my hands back on, and some new introductions, and a cool little claw machine that we're going to talk about in a minute too, and tell you guys how you can be involved even if you can't make it into the store. So, you ready, Jeff?
Okay.
Let's start right
get into
here.
it.
This is a bait that we have brought to you guys one time before. So we had this in the 1/2 ounce size before. This is the first time that we are bringing it into the 3/8 and 3/4 size. And this is from Bass Puzzle. This is the grass piece. Now this is a chatterbait style bait that has literally kind of taken over Japan for this style, well, basically for chatterbait fishing. So here in the US, when you think of a chatterbait, most people probably think jackhammer, right? And that's, you know, traditionally, that's the best chatterbait, in my opinion, too. But this is one of the first bait kind of in this realm that actually does something different and very specific. And a lot of you guys have been dying to get these back in. If this is new to you, let me walk you through it here very quickly. So I say chatterbait because it has a chatter style blade to it, and you can cast it and wind it, and that blade will vibrate back and forth, and you have a chatter style. But what the owner of Bass Puzzle was trying to do here was create a bait that literally could come through grass no matter what. So Biwa is full of grass. He lives on Biwa, fishes Biwa a lot. This is one you can get down and you can rip it, and it's going to come right through the grass. It's not going to clog on the snap. It's not going to clog on the blade. It's also one that's built for big fish. So you'll notice it has this big, you know, solid, it looks like a 6/0, heavy duty gauge nano coated hook on it. So it's designed for big fish, like what he has on Biwa, which is unusual for a Japanese styled bladed bait, because normally they're designed more on the finesse side. So this is one that totally transfers over to the US. Now, this was really made popular last year when Kenta Kimura kind of went on a tear on the elites and the opens, and back-to-back tournaments, this was the bait he was using. So let me just talk you through it real quick. This blade on a straight retrieve is going to vibrate, and you're going to have a chatterbait style. You can fish it like a spinnerbait or a chatterbait. The thing that's super dope about this is you can burn it just as well as you can go slow. So most chatterbaits, when you go too fast, they start to drift on their side. Not the case with the grass piece. The grass piece you can burn. So if you want to go super fast, if you want to have a real hard lift or a pop out of grass, it will track true. The other thing that it does, and this is where it gets me, is this blade will allow the bait to shimmy fall. So what that means is when you have a bait that's coming through and you pause, most of the time the baits kind of dive down, right? A shimmy fall would be when the bait comes through and you pause, that the bait shimmies horizontally like what you would expect from like a Senko or something like that. So this bait will be vibrating through and then all of a sudden it will shimmy fall down. So you can pitch this on a bluff, you can skip this under a dock, you can just let it kind of shimmy fall down. You can pitch it into bushes. It's got a really stout hook and stout wire, so you can use it as kind of a pitching or flipping bait, down cane, edges. Sky's the limit on this thing, right? Now, in Japan, the 3/4 ounce size is the #1 selling size. And this is the size, Kenta says is pretty much the only size he uses. So, you know, I know in traditional jackhammers and chatterbaits, 1/2 ounce is probably the #1 size. But this 3/4 is going to swim the same way that a 1/2 ounce traditional jackhammer is going to swim. Okay, so if you're used to using 1/2 ounce jackhammers, the 3/4 is going to give you that same depth or that same speed because of how the blade is separated off and after you add the trailer on it. Okay, the 3/8 ounce is going to be a money one for you guys fishing ponds, smaller bodies of water, or even big lakes where you need to just keep the bait up really high and fish the bait much slower. Okay, I'll put them side by side so you can see the comparison here. So the blade size is the same, but you can see the body size is a little bit different, so it's going to be a much more finesse movement. Okay, each one is going to have this little kind of eyelet underneath the head. You can do whatever you want to do with this. If you want to add more weight, so if you want to attach like a grenade weight down there, you can, and that will help speed that shimmy fall. So if you want to sink it down into 40, 50, 60 feet, knock yourself out, or if you want to have just a fast shimmy. If you want to add a treble hook to there, you can do that as well. A stinger hook that goes back. You want to put a blade down there, like you could attach a little, like an underspin. You can do whatever you want, okay? Now, let me run through the colors really quick and then we'll talk about trailers for this thing because that's really critical as well. So, each one 3/8 and 3/4 is going to come in Violet Gale, which is the one that I had open here, okay? Green Pumpkin, pretty self-explanatory, right? Green Pumpkin is going to also have that painted green pumpkin blade. Let me see if I can hold it without looking like a complete clown. There you go. Green Pumpkin. Making a mess. Making a mess. White Shad. Very nice white color that's kind of a blend of some solid white and some clear strands. We have them make this color for us specifically here in the US, chartreuse and white. I know that doesn't seem like it should be a color that has to be made, but for whatever reason it's not in the normal arsenal. So we actually spent months making the chartreuse and white exactly like this. So the chartreuse strands are super clear. It's a very subtle chartreuse and white. You guys are gonna love it. Black blue. Smoke shad. So kind of a darker, darker shad color. And of course, sweet gold. This would be a good kind of shiner color. So that's the color run. Okay, now let's talk about trailers for a minute. The trailer it was designed for, not really designed for, but the one that pretty much everybody uses is this one. This is the one that Kenta made popular, the Depth Sakamata Shad. So this style trailer is really where this bait shines. Something that's got that kind of forked tail, but of course you could use whatever you guys are using now. If you're using a Zocco, using a K-Tech paddle tail or whatever, try it on there and see what you think. But if you're looking to start fresh, the 5 or 6 inch size as a trailer is perfect. The 7 inch size is a great alternative if you want to take the skirt off and just have a bait. Okay, so this is a lot how Kenta was using this, was just with the straight Sakamata because he could burn it. So if you have fish that are boiling in open water, if you have herring, fish, something like that, you could throw this out, you could burn it through, and then if they're pop, 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 pop missing it, you can kill it and it will have that shimmy fall on there and then boom, they get it. Okay, so experiment with it, try it. This is with a 7 inch Sakamata on there. Okay, so give that a try. Another great alternative that we found is the 4.5 inch dough life stick. Okay, so this is what I'm running on it most of the time. The Sakamata is another great one. So any of those would be great. But I think you guys will find that you'll catch a ton of fish on this. Super stoked to get them back in your hands. So there you go. The Bass Puzzle grass piece, those are available now. All right, Jeff, before we keep talking about new tackle, if you guys follow us on Instagram, this week we tried to break it with the introduction of the first ever Megabass claw machine. Okay, now this is something that we've been trying to figure out how to do now for a couple of years. Claw machines, if you guys have ever been to Japan or you follow, you know, any type of Japanese channels, you'll know that UFO catchers or these claw machines, they are everywhere. Like, this is just common. So every time I'm there, I'm claw machining. My nieces, my nephews, they love it. Now, in all fairness, I suck at claw machines. Jeff, I've seen you play a couple claw machines.
I'm awful. The only person I know is good is your brother, because he lives there and he has practice with his kids.
He's amazing at
Yeah,
it.
he's a guy.
And it blows me away every time. It doesn't seem like there should be skill.
No, but he's got it.
This is probably another reason why he's the favorite child, right?
Big one, right?
But it's such a fun, addicting thing to do.
Yeah.
So we thought, to be fun and to have something cool that everybody could just play and have a good time, that we would create a Megabass claw machine. So inside of that machine, we have filled it chock full of baits. Now, most of the baits in there are hard to find baits. There's baits that many of you probably never heard of before. There's some Chuggy X's in there. There's some saltwater baits. There's some really old don't make any more 110s. There's some limited drops, so when we have bentos or, you know, any limited run Pop Maxes, 110s, we're dropping them in the claw machine. So it's full of super dope things. Now, we probably had like 1,000 or more comments on the post that I made. The majority of those comments were, man, I wish it was closer. I wish there was a way I could play it, right? And a lot of you guys have come in this week to the store and we've had a great time playing it. Win or lose, it's just super dope to watch that thing fall down, right? So I don't exactly know how to get everybody involved. This may be an ongoing process, but the staff and I would love to include as many people into this as possible. So today we are going to offer basically claw machine ticket packs. Okay, so if you are not here and can't make it in a store, obviously we'd love you to come to Arizona, play the machine, hang out with us, right? Have a good time. But if you can't do it and you want to try it virtually, you can choose. If you want to throw 20 bucks in the machine or 50 bucks in the machine or 100 bucks in the machine or whatever, you can choose the amount you want to do and you can choose the staff member you want to play for you. And we will play for you. We'll FaceTime you or film it and send it to you. Look, nobody here is good. So that's your, you know, word of caution. I suck. I played it for 2 straight days and I won 3 things, right? Ethan might be a little bit better. I think he won 1 more thing than I did. But, you know, hey, it's a fun way to do it. So if you'd like to try it, you want to roll the dice, that will be available. Let's give it a shot and see how it goes. If it's an overwhelming response, I obviously can't just do that forever because we won't be able to ship anything to you guys. But, you know, I'd love you guys to try it and partake. And it's a great chance to get baits that you're not going to be able to get anywhere else. So good luck, okay? Choose wisely. This would not be my first pick, but, you know, have at it, okay? Cheers. Have fun, guys. Wait. Yeah, baby. All right, Jeff, you ready to talk about these nuts?
No, I want to just talk about claw machines.
Oh, relax. We'll play in a minute. Okay. One of the weirder names, but a super cool bait. We launched the 50 size of this a couple months back, but I think most people were waiting for the 65 and the 80 size to come. This is from OSP. This is the OSP Spinnuts. Okay, so it is available in a 65 and an 80. Probably the cutest mascot of any bait that I know of. Agreed?
100%.
Yeah. Okay. Let's talk about this thing for a minute. So, at first look, it looks very similar in style to kind of like a cover scat style bait. And it is a heavy weighted plastic bait that you can certainly use like a cover scat where you sink it to the bottom, What the Spinnuts is going to do though is it was actually designed to be a underwater walking bait. Okay, so it was designed to kind of pitch in a bush and walk the bait out. So traditionally when you think of like a walking bait side to side, you think of like a walking topwater bait, right? Normally when something sinks underneath, it's kind of got a more of a swimming motion to it. But you have baits like a jerk bait, of course, that might have some side to side kick, but you can't really put those into trees or into bushes. This is designed to kind of throw into cover, and then actually as you twitch it lightly, it's going to walk like this on itself out of that brush. So if you let it go down to the bottom, the shape of the front is designed to kind of push through the mud. So as it moves left and right, it's designed to kind of kick up more dirt than say something like a cover scat. If you fish it in the mid column, just light little twitches and this will move side to side so you can kind of have a subsurface walking bait. You could even throw it and fish it really fast and quickly on the surface as well. So use it however you want to use it, okay? But designed to be used weightless, or I've been watching Toshi in Japan a lot, and a lot of those guys, Toshi included, are using like almost a Carolina rig with it. So they're using that same weight, you know, Griff and his, you know, weight in his jerk bait, right? They're using that same weight with this to kind of keep it down a little bit so that as they twitch it, it's maintaining depth. Okay, so you can use it a bunch of different ways. Now, the two new sizes, the 65 and the 80 here. I'll take the 65 out. Obviously, it's 65 millimeters and 80 millimeters, right? So you can see the size difference. And then, of course, there's the 50 as well, which is the smallest one. And those are back. So this is the first time the 65 and the 80 have been out. The 50 is back. The 65 is going to weigh about 8 grams on its own, so a little over a quarter ounce. The 80 weighs 16 grams, so a little over half an ounce on its own. Okay, so depending on how you know, what gear you're throwing it on, how deep you want it to go, so on and so forth. The 65 is designed to take a 3/0 hook. The 80 is designed to take a 5/0 hook. Okay, and I'm gonna just rig one really quick so you guys know what it is that you're doing. So you can just grab whatever 5/0 or 3/0 hook you like. This flat kind of cup here, this is the front, and then the bulbous back, this is the back. Okay, so the flat side is kind of shaped in a triangular shape. Flat is up top. You're going to use right here in the front, there's a little bit of a marker. Okay, it's really easy to see when you're there. That's where the hook's going to go in and back out straight, and there's a little bit of a reinforced place right there that you can come straight out. This is going to go in like that, and you're just going to line this up. There's a hook slot there. You're going to line it up on top right there, and you're just going to go straight out the hole that you lined it with, and there you go. Spinnuts. Okay, so rock it out, try it. If you want to expose it, of course, you know, you guys can do that too and bury that hook or however you want to do it. But now you've got a bait that you can throw into cover, and instead of just flipping the same beaver that goes down to a bush or whatever, you have something you can actually kind of walk through the bushes and move out in a more of a horizontal path or way or path. I think you guys will dig it. Tons of cool colors. There you go. From OSP, new this week, Spinnuts. All right, staying on OSP. This is an exciting one. So you guys know that we've been doing some custom run colors through the crankbait lines and the jerkbait lines of OSP. So Sick, Ghost Geisha, Purple Haze, Esodon, right? So this week, not only do we have 3 custom colors in this bait, but we also got them to go back deep into their color history and make some colors that they weren't planning on making anymore, to kind of do a special drop. Now this is a super sick, no pun intended, bait. This is the OSP Asura jerkbait. Now, if you guys aren't familiar with the Asura, it's a 92.5 millimeter. So it's 8.4 grams. Okay, so you're kind of not quite to 3/8, you're kind of in between a quarter and 3/8. But what's dope about the Asura is that the Asura takes a downsized jerkbait. Normally when you downsize to this size, you have 2 hooks, okay? It takes a downsized jerkbait and it keeps you with those 3 hooks. So on those days where they're just finicky, they're slashing at it, you know, they're not just totally gulping the bait, your hookup ratio is going to go much higher on an Asura than most downsized jerkbaits would that only have the 2 hooks on it, okay? Now, they were able to accomplish this in a few different ways. The biggest way is if you look at most jerkbaits when they come down here, grabbed. You know, a 110 wouldn't nearly be as effective if it only had 2 hooks, right? So many times you guys get them, you know, they're slashing it, they're breathing on it, they're pushing it, they're hitting it with their head, and you hook them in weird places a lot of times. If you notice the eyelets, they're all kind of just tuned straight down, right? So OSP was able to tweak their eyelets, and you notice their eyelets are tuned in a completely different way. They almost just like turned them about 180 degrees. And that allows them to squeeze in those extra hooks without any hooks kind of wrapping on itself, and gives you the ability to have a small bait, 3 hooks, that's going to work very similar in action to kind of a 110 type action. So does have a weight transfer system in it, so it casts incredibly well, has an amazing action. It's really going to be kind of a surface down to like 5 foot, so it's going to be top of the column kind of bait. But super stoked to get our 3 custom colors. So Sick, which is in my hands, of course. Let's just open these all up. Ghost Geisha, which is a color that we absolutely destroy them on here. Kind of a 2-tone white with a transparent, some shad scales on it. Super dope one. And then this looks amazing. This is the best bait, I think, for this color, Purple Haze. So again, you get that purple belly, and it fades up to kind of that that pearl to the purple. Super sick. Great one for clear water, okay? So we also had them remake it in matte Wakasagi and Jinrin, so 2 more matte finishes. So now you can choose matte Wakasagi, Jinrin, or So Sick. So you have the 3 matte finishes. I know a lot of you guys love this bait in the real perch, so we had them redo that. Chartreuse Wakasagi. Toshi's favorite color, HF Wakasagi. So every time I'm with him, he's throwing that color. Numeri Shad, and then there's a handful of other colors as well in the Asura. So the Asura is a special one. You can throw it on spinning and throw it on casting. You just want to downsize your line, probably like 7 to 10 pound on this. You can throw it on 12 and it still moves. Got a reinforced lip, so the lip is actually very strong, similar to a Varuna. But if you guys throw it on 8 pound or 10 pound, I think you're going to be very happy with the performance. So there you go, guys. Probably going to be a one-time offering in the customs and some of these colors. So if this is a bait that you guys have in your arsenal, this is the time to scoop these up. The Asura from OSP, available now. All right, Jeff, a couple other OSP items that I think you guys are going to think are really cool. So we launched these last year, the OSP Rod Covers. 2 new colors. So there is a woodland camo and a gray camo available in these. Rod covers are something that we use all the time. If you guys are shore fishing or you bundle rods, like if you're, say you're a co-angler or something like that, this is basically a super well-made cover that you can wrap your rods in, and it comes with the straps, okay? And you can squeeze, I can squeeze like 6 bait casters in this. I think it's designed for like 3 or 4 rods, but I mean, you know, shove them in. That's my motto, right? If you're doing spinning rods, you're probably gonna get maybe 3, okay? But it's a great way to just slide it over your rods, so you have all your rods contained in one unit. Easy to transfer, you know, in and out of the car, in and out of the boat. Just a super dope way to do it. So 2 new colors in the rod cover from OSP. And then something kind of surprising to see from OSP. This is a trolling motor wire cover. Okay, so everybody that's got a boat, whether you have a bass boat or a kayak, or, you know, if you have a trolling motor, you have wires that come off the trolling motor to your pedal. You probably have a transducer wire that's also along that. This is designed to cover that. Okay, here, let me open it for you and I'll show you. Now, these will be available eventually in 4 different colors. This week we have the gray camo and the blue. Okay, so I think there's a red and a black coming, but if gray camo or blue works for you, great. This is a neoprene sleeve that's designed to go from your trolling motor head where your wires come out to your pedal, so that everything is self-contained inside, okay? So there is up here, this is where it's going to attach to the actual trolling motor. There's a nice little pad there, so this is gonna actually fit right on your trolling motor. It's going to wrap around, and then you're just going to use this to just keep folding it all the way down. Okay, so you're just going to fold it in, you're going to fold it in, and you're going to wrap your cables and your wires up in this neoprene sleeve. So you get the cool OSP branding, you get the colors, but then you get the protection of everything being in this sleeve. Towards the bottom down here, you will see that there are some sewed in markers. You can cut this down to size as well. Okay, so as it comes, I listed the trolling motors that it was built for, like your traditional motor guide in Minn Kota lengths, right? But if you're in a smaller motor or more cramped space, you can cut it at any of these little joints and you're good to go. Okay, so you can fit it to whatever you need to do. Kind of cool. So there you go, the trolling motor cover from OSP. Those are also available this week. All right, Jeff, let's jump over a quick little Teckel segment. So a huge restock across the board, hard baits and frogs, a couple of new colors, and a couple of baits that we haven't seen in a while. So I'm just gonna fly through this, okay? So let's start right here with the Marackar. Now, one of the things that Teckel does, I think, well, it's really the only company that I know of that does this in the frog world, because, you know, Hideki's really, he's a topwater focused dude, right? I mean, you've spent a ton of time with Hideki. I spent a ton of time with Hideki. He's a tinker and likes to make small little changes, so you don't just have one frog to do all frog things, right? He wants one frog to do this kind of cover and one frog that maybe can excel at this, right? The Marackar is kind of a classic example of that. This is a bait that's designed for fishing super like matted, heavy areas, right? So you guys know that when your grass really mats up high in the column, fish probably don't even see that frog coming over, right? You got a big mat like this, they're probably never gonna see or hear that frog. So the Marackar is designed with this rattle pod in the back. So you can hear, it's almost like a Kicknocker type sound in the back of it, very loud, that you can kind of fish over, and then when it gets to a pocket, if you walk it or swim it, it's on a swivel, so you can get a little bit of a prop sound out of this as well. Just a really cool frog, a niche frog. It's not a frog that you're gonna use every day, but when the conditions are right, the Marackar is really the only frog like it, okay? So Junebug, I don't know why Junebug wasn't a normal color. This seems like a traditional kind of South Florida kind of technique, but it's one of the best-selling colors in other frogs. So Junebug is a new colorway, and then all the other colors like bone and bluegill, so on and so forth, are going to be available in this as well. Okay, so new Marackar from Teckel. Sprinkers are also back across the board. So any of the shore colors like black shore, old white shore, so on and so forth. But we see some new colors that come in as well. So shark gill, see-through, those are some new colors that are going to be available in this guy. Sprinker is going to be kind of like a buzzbait frog hybrid. Okay, so see-through is kind of just a clear, transparent, almost matted clear. Okay, so this would be a great one for some clear water. This would also be a great one if you guys like to tinker and paint. So, you know, take a little Sharpie or Spike It pen or whatever you want to do. You want to put some colors or some lines or whatever on there, you can. But this is a frog that just kind of spins and buzzes on the surface. It's a great one. And then, you know, full restock across the board in whackers, honkers, everything else is back from Hideki and Teckel frogs. All right, while I was back in Japan a couple weeks ago, Hideki and I were hanging out, and I was going through some inventory, and I discovered that he had a handful of the 10th anniversary Kicknockers left, that he, for whatever reason, they were there. So I took everything that was left. Now, if you guys remember back to earlier this year, the 10th anniversary Kicknocker was something that he did, that he made a special batch to celebrate the 10th anniversary of Teckel. This is made out of a bone ABS instead of a traditional ABS. So the sound is a little bit different pitch, and I'll show them side by side here in a minute. So he didn't have every color, but there were a handful of colors that we were out of, like Striper and Blackbird, Plain Shore. So if you guys missed out or want to add to the arsenal, this would be a great time to scoop these up. Let me show you. Cool. He also had some Kicknockers that we hadn't seen in a while. So like bluegill is back in both pup and full size. Clear ice is back, and I also found a handful more of my special stripper pole. Oh, you remember this one? A very important color in the world of colors.
Yes.
Yeah, so this is a custom that we did a one-time run. I found an extra crate of each. So if you guys missed out or need to add to the arsenal, this would be a good time to throw some stripper pole into the arsenal as well. All right, 10th anniversary Kicknocker, traditional Kicknocker, okay? Sound difference, just a sound check, okay? Same shape, just a different plastic, so. Can you hear it? More of a hollow, low pitch, more of a crisp, higher pitch. Okay, so just two different sounds. They're gonna walk the same, they're gonna act the same, but they're gonna give you just different sounds as they move through. Okay, so fun to play, fun to add different tools to the tool chest. So there you go. If any of those speak to you, those are available now. What do you like better, Jeff? Striper or stripper?
Both get me going.
I bet they do. All right, and after we just said that Teckel's an amazing topwater company, they do make a crankbait.
Wow.
Okay, and a lot of guys forget about this crankbait. So when Hideki made this crankbait, this is called the Drunker, by the way. So pretty much everybody that lives in the middle part of the USA, the Ozark land, knows about the original wigglewort. Okay, this is a bait that companies have tried to mimic and imitate for years, trying to create that hunting action, that kind of flat movement, but that still kind of hunts and has a certain deflection. This was a bait that Hideki made because he wanted more access to them, and he wanted every bait to kind of work the same and not have to buy 20 baits and 2 work and 8 don't. And so he created the Drunker. Okay, so all of the good crawl type patterns are back in this thing. He makes a ton of these like phantom craws. I'll just take it out really quick. If you guys like running bank with a crankbait, if you like throwing it up on shore and kind of grinding, the Drunker's an amazing little crankbait. It's a super dope crankbait. So you can see it's kind of flat by design, right? It's got a special kind of cupped lip, a little bit different lip than everything else. So it's going to have that real flat motion that as it hits, it's going to kind of hunt and then track back true. Okay, so a really neat little bait. Those all return from Teckel this week. All right, quick restock on Lucky Craft. We are still in the middle of topwater season, or the beginning of topwater season for a lot of places. I know Gunfish 95 is a must-have for a lot of you guys, and this has been a hard bait to come by. Really, they've been making it in like 3 colors. A pretty big color restock this week. So take a look if this is a bait that you like. A lot of shad patterns. So, live threadfin, gold threadfin, sexy mama, striped shad was over there, herring colors over there. So quite a few in the 95 come back. Definitely a great time to take a look. We also have more LV 500s right now than we've had probably in 5 years. So this is also getting ready to start, or probably has started for a lot of you guys. So across the board, from clearwater shad, striped shad, some gill colors, all those MS colors, it's a great time if you're looking to stock up. Those also are across the board in stock from Lucky Craft. And then a bait that we teased you guys with a couple of times and it keeps selling out. So I try to grab them every time I can. This is the prop crapie. Jeff's shaking his head. Why are you shaking your head, Jeff? Is it crazy that people like these? Okay. Crazy because it's so tiny? All right. Spec it out. I can't even read this. Oh my God. Okay. Stand by. If I'm going to feel old, I'm going to drink. This is also part of my bodybuilding experience. What the hell? Who can read that? 35 millimeters, 2.8 grams. Okay.
2.8 grams?
2.8 grams, yeah. This is a bait finesse or spinning rod. Cool little spy bait little guy.
The
Okay.
hooks are huge.
So basically a BFS kind of spy bait. Okay, so it's got a really cool kind of shimmy to it. It's a wider, it's kind of got that round crepey body, so it's got a lot of rock to it. It does come standard with the 2 single hooks, because most of these crepies are designed part of their trout line, but they have been a bass bait finesse staple for a long time. So if you would rather have trebles, super quick little change. You can throw some little 14s or 12s on there, little owner ST36 or something. Boom, you're golden. If you guys are fishing for trout, you might like those little single hooks. But super cool little bait. Those are back in a handful of colors from Lucky Craft. All right, Jeff, let's talk Shimano line. I know that's a weird thing to say.
Reels? Whoa.
But this is a new fluorocarbon that Shimano released earlier this year at ICAST. They're finally starting to come through the store. Now, this will eventually be available in all kinds of sizes. I'm just going to let you guys know as it shows up because I know a lot of you guys have been looking for this. Jeff Gustafson basically put this on the map when he smoked everybody at the Classics. So this is the Mastiff fluorocarbon from Shimano. So it is a Japanese fluorocarbon. It has a nano armor on it, which means what, Jeff?
It's got armor, and armor means defense.
Perfect. You should be their spokesperson.
I-
Okay.
Nano.
And it's
And it's nano.
nano.
That's right,
Yeah.
you
So
got
it's
me.
like nanobots. You can't see it.
Nanobot.
Yeah, you have to believe it's there. So, exceptional smoothness, enhanced casting performance, consistent quality, superior knot strength. Okay? So, Shimano engineers designed the cutting-edge nano armor technology with nano-level ridges on the line's surface for increased knot strength and toughness. Okay? So that's the wording from Shimano.
Got it.
Look, my idea with lines is if it's working for you, if you're happy where you are, please don't change. Like, stay in your zone. Like, don't play with this. Just keep going. But if you're kind of a tinkerer, you like to try something different, or maybe you feel like there's some better options out there, that's when I usually explore. Okay, and I try everything because I want to know exactly where its strengths and weaknesses are. So this might be something fun for you guys to play with. But look, it's clear, it's fluorocarbon. You're gonna have to try it. I don't know if any of you are gonna like it or not. It's new, so let's give it a try. If you guys use it, if you have used it and have any experience, maybe drop it down below and share so we can all learn together. I hope it's good because I'd love to have another great option out there. So there you go. If you want to try that, the Mastiff fluorocarbon from Shimano, those are available now. Now, let's say you bought a bunch of spools of this. You need a great way to carry it.
Yeah.
Right? How about a Sunline padded line case? See that transition?
Wouldn't that be
Sacrilegious?
illegal?
Like putting a Shimano reel on a Daiwa rod?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's good.
Wouldn't Sunline come to your house and beat you up?
These are back. It always goes to violence with you. This is a family-friendly show, Jeff. Relax. These are back. This is one of our best-selling accessories here in the store. It's a padded line case. Okay, so it's designed if you guys use bulk spools, like a 660 yard spool or something like that. They do have these like elastic kind of bands in here that you can put your bulk spool in there and it will hold it in. Right, so you could even use it and tie it straight to your reel and wind while it's spinning. You can store, I don't know that anybody needs a explanation on how padded pockets work, but if you need a good padded place to keep your line, throw it in your boat, keep it in your truck, whatever, these are back in stock. All right, and then to wrap it up, a quick restock notification for you guys. We brought you the 2500 PC Exist last week, the week before. I just want to let you guys know that the 3000H is back finally. So a lot of you guys have been waiting on this. There are two 3000s in this lineup. Now, we talk about the Exist all the time. There's a 3000D and a 3000H. What is the difference? Well, the D has a deep spool, the H is a shallower spool. The D is a 5.2 to 1 gear ratio. The H is a 5.7 to 1 gear ratio. What does that mean? The D is equivalent to like a 7.2 to 1 bait caster. The H is equivalent to more of like a 7.9 to 1 or an 8 to 1 gear ratio, okay? Why do you choose one over the other? Here's the H, here's the D. You can see the spool size is deeper here. Either one would be a great all-around option. So if you're just looking for one reel to put on your spinning rod and use it for everything, whichever one speaks to you is fine. They're both great speeds. What my recommendation would be is I would go with the D if there's ever a chance that you're going to throw straight fluoro. So a lot of you guys throw like jerk baits on spinning gear. If you like going straight fluoro, like straight 8-pound instead of doing braid to leader, go with the D. It will give you more line capacity, it will give you better management, and it slows the reel down enough to where you can twitch and wind, and you're not picking up too much line, right? So if this is something that you guys are doing, if you're casting straight fluoro, definitely go with the D. If you're always going braid to leader and you're always doing bottom contact stuff, then go with the H, because it's a shallower spool. It's designed for braids, a little higher gear ratio. It'll be better for, you know, free rig, Ned rig, drop shot, whatever it is that you're doing. So there you go. The 2-3,000 options in Exist, plus the 2,500 options, all in stock from Daiwa. All right, Jeff, I left it short and sweet this week so I could go play the claw machine.
All right, let's go
Okay,
play.
are you ready to play?
Let's do it.
All right, guys, on behalf of myself and Jeff and Griff and everybody here at the Hook Up Tackle guys, thank you for your support. Thank you for your business. I hope you guys are having an amazing week and weekend. Do me a favor, go hug your family, catch a big one, drink an Orion if you can find them, and come play the claw machine. It's gonna be fun. We're gonna go right now. Cheers, my friends. Have a great weekend. If you have questions on anything, drop it down below. We'll throw links up. Peace.